right, it's that time for another one here. So we've got ourselves the Tamarisk Country Club. We're calling them monument signs here, the entry monuments, but really they're sculptures, man. So they're pretty cool looking. So unlike normal monument signs, which you guys can knock out in about 3 hours, these are going to take a little bit more work. However, there's nothing here that you haven't already done. Just applying different principles to from other signs to here. So some of the greatest hits to get these done. But anyway, so you're just looking at that. They're not too big. They're not too small. But it's just a reverse channel letter on top of a really fancy box. And then figuring out how to get the power and all that. So with that said, let's get after it. So what I got here is, let's go over the lay of the land real quick. And then we'll get to it. So we've got ourselves some 090 sort of internal bracing, and then the jigs that you're going to use to build it. That's the frame jigs. And then we're going to have the actual fronts and backs. Because it's asymmetrical, it's only lit on the front. It'll have a front and then a back, so pay attention to that. We have a bottom box kind of assembly, and then we have power vaults. We're going to basically be using the Indio type boxes. And then I have basically all the returns. I did those out of 063. Was thinking about trying them in 050, but it might be a little thin. And getting that bend scribe and all that to hit on the 050 is a little trickier because it's so thin. So anyway, so we're going to go 63. Good luck on that. You got all your 1/4 plate stuff. You have basically your bottom Mjolnir, and then you have the stuff to build the sign itself. And then we've got our reverse channel letter faces. Don't confuse those for the other ones, obviously. And then you got your tabs, just normal tabs, and you got your macrolon, or your tough act. Yeah, it's all the same. Keep wanting to say macrolon. Old habits die hard, die harder. So basically, you're just going to be you're going to be doing this in two parts. You've got your reverse channel letter over here, so just kind of look to this side. I didn't do a separate page, but if you look over here, this is what you guys normally look for. You got your strips, 3-inch depth. So you're just going to, you can knock that out. That's like separate. So as far as making the sign itself, you're going to start out, get everything all bent up, good to go. So then you're going to take your inside jigs, your 2 inside jigs, and this is where you've seen this before. This will be the Eagle Mountain Eagle. So we're not going to really have any access inside in order to like weld the returns on, the 063 returns. So you're just going to be trapping the two pieces together with a whole series of inside braces that you're just going to rivet together. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to take all these cats here, get them ready, and then you'll see where I've kind of borrowed which one is nearest to the actual return piece. So just a heads up, paint by numbers, fab by letters here. So like the top is A, this inside piece is B, this inside piece is D, this one here is F, G. You'll have this PDF obviously to go off of, but also it'll be scribed onto the actual backer. Those actually correspond directly to the actual piece that goes onto the sign itself right there. So that's like the return is B, that goes into B. However, what we're going to do here is I borrowed what is closest. So you see we have D here. So I went ahead and made this brace piece D. You see here that like this will be L just because it kind of bumps up. So you'll have L and L, but it'll be kind of here and then like L is there. So don't look for like, because otherwise I would have had this whole other naming standard craziness. So I just borrowed what's close. So like Z is over here because the Z return is here. So look for Z, and that's the one that kind of goes right next to there. Y is the whole bottom piece is Y. Why? Ask why. So that's down to the bottom there. And so you get the idea. You'll find out, this one's number 3 because it was closest to 3 right here, but also the vertical is 3 as well. So anyway, you'll figure it out. So what you're going to do is get these two ready, get all this bent. Now don't trap it yet though, because the idea is you're also going to have to trap inside the 1/4-inch pieces that are going to create the whole structure for this. So the whole idea is this thing is going to be on a 2-piece system like we do. So you're going to take a piece of 3x and it's going to run up the middle, and then that's going to be tied into some 1/4-inch down here. So, but that 1/4-inch, you're not going to have access. It has to be trapped with the dog bones sandwiched in between these guys. So possibly either Cleco it together, or you can maybe rivet one side, get it all ready, and then grab these cats here. So this is going to be where all the structure is. You're going to have this guy, you're going to have this bottom piece, and these two side pieces that create this. Don't worry about tacking this together outside. Keep it loose, and then you're going to go ahead and just trap it with the dog bones in between the two, and then this guy is going to come over here and intersect this homie. Now this homie, wake up the 193 rivets, because you're going to go ahead and rivet this together like we do, and the flange faces out. So put it at the back of this piece, and then that begins the party. And then you'll dog bone that into that right there, and you should be good to go. So once you get all that and these are kind of loose, then go ahead and sandwich it all together and go ahead and get the rivet party going, and then rivet these two, the two jig pieces together. And you can see where the dog bones are there, and that correlates to that. So then once you have that all set, go ahead and rivet it all together, good to go. Now these are floppy. Now is when you can burn them. I know you're not going to have any access to the top. I only have these here because you will be able to access, obviously, the dog bones if you want. Now because this is going to be like all of this, and then once it comes down here, this doesn't need to be super welded. So I know you're not going to have access for full pen, but you can, because the post isn't in yet. Don't put the post in yet. So you'll be able to access here. You'll be able to access here. So you can come in from the side and burn this completely. You'll be able to burn that completely. So get in where you can fit in. You'll be able to burn all of this. And yes, you can burn here. And then you can like tack this quarter to the 090. Anywhere you can stick the gun in, go ahead and try to get the gun in there. But I would encourage you also maybe just throw some tacks into the dog bones, and then go ahead and burn those clean, grind it up clean so it's smooth. But that's the idea. It does, again, as long as you got like this fully here to here, this plate is going to be doing all of the work once the post goes in. So it's this guy here. That's all you got to really worry about. And maybe getting this guy burnt to these two, and then that's it. Once you get that, it'll start transferring load through everything else, so it's fine. So then, saying that being said, next comes the post. So go ahead and slide the post in, bottom it out, and then this is where the important one is. So you can get in here, because this box isn't here yet, obviously, so don't worry about that. You'll have full access right here. Burn this up nice, all the way around. There you go. There's our strength. So that's basically going to be holding the sign up, and should be good to go. So once that's taken care of, then you can go ahead and start the task of wrapping this thing. It is not going to be fun, but good luck. If you were around for MedMen, it's tough to get these on the inside. Do the best you can, but it's going to be kind of a challenge to fit these in there. So, and again, with 063, just do the best you can. We got a bunch of little fiddly ends and everything like that. So whoopee. So again, I have everything labeled and everything. Also, I tried to space the teeth out enough when things get really tight. They call it kerf. So I tried to kerf things, but have your snips ready to kind of trim corners and things to make these fit in case these, the kerf is not enough. But again, most of these are outside bends, but but on this side here, so anything that's going to be kind of tight for you on the Q, have your snips ready to kind of trim these tabs a little bit for yourself, and just do the best you can. It's not going to be fun, but hopefully you guys can knock it out. So because of the way this is, obviously you're not going to have any inside access. So just like the Eagle, we're going to be relying on you tacking and making sure you get good tacks on all the teeth. So work your way around and get all these teeth tacked down nice, and go ahead and tack, the flanges here, get those all tacked really well, and then you're good to go. Once you get all the returns on, good luck. Also, to nail down the corners, because you don't have access inside, I gave you some plug weld spots. So you can see where I have some, I think I have these at 1/4 inch. Yeah, so I just have little 1/4 inch holes so I don't have to do too much Bondo. But you'll see that they are like here where this flaps over. We'll want to nail that down. And also like over here where this comes around. And any time that there's going to be that flap that needs to be nailed down, but you can't get in there, I went ahead and left plug welds. So you'll be able to just throw some quick full burns, make some little dots to the tabs here, and then you'll just be able to grind those smooth. So a little bit of Bondo, but that's how we're going to nail down these flaps here. Everything else is a butt seam, so it'll just have to live with how it works. If you feel you need to seal something up, maybe you can do some inject-a-lords and do a wipe or something like that. So just to stabilize anything if it seems hinky, but it's just got to sit there and look pretty. So I think it'll be okay. Also, I'd go ahead. I wanted to stiffen these up, but if these become a problem trying to fit inside, go ahead and have your pliers ready and just back and forth. It's called work hardening. Just go ahead and bend those off and just break them off if you have to. But because this might want to like bow, keep doing this keeps it straight. But if you have to, in order to get things to fit, I tried to leave it off some and put it on others to try to make it. But anyway, so you'll be the judge of that. If you can't get it in there with these on there, then just go ahead and just have your pliers ready and just bend them off, break them, snap them right off. Anyway, so I think that'll be it for that. So once you get the returns on and you have the post sticking out, because you'll slide your C right over that. So once the Y, not C, that's Y. So you put the Y, slide that over. So now you'll have all the returns on. You'll have a post sticking out. It's only about 12 inches out, so it's not bad. And then you'll be ready to go. So as you do, go ahead and grind off all of the welds, make it nice and smooth, and then go ahead and you're just going to do a full Lord's party. Now, because you're only relying on tacks on the teeth here, what I would encourage you to do is make sure you get a nice healthy bead all the way around that will then incorporate the teeth into the faces. So, and then once you get those faces on there, and then also you have that void, right, where you have the rivet heads, but here you're a full 09 up. So go ahead and make sure you put some good splotches, nice glue splotches in all the void areas like we've done on the Eagle. And then you'll go ahead and put those on. Now the faces do have, just like the center stage, I went ahead and did a thing where in fabricate or prep, we'll know which one. So I did a slight inside kiss on the holes that count for the backer. Otherwise, everything else can be bondoed on the face. And then I enlarged the power in so it'll be easy to feed in because we don't have any access. So it'll be kind of just blind feeding the wire through. Shouldn't be a problem. And then on the backer, obviously, there's no need for anything on the back. It's all fully Bondo, so make sure you got back inside. So Lord's the backer on, Lord's the face with the rivet where the reference kiss is out, and then you're good to go. So now we have ourselves this all done, face is all done with a naked stick out. So now you can go ahead and make the bottom box. So the bottom box, again, it's asymmetrical because it's following the bottom of the C there, the Y piece. So you have a left side and a right side. Right's a little taller. And then you're just going to go ahead and make sure keep it the same here on the box. And you can just rivet. Once you get that tacked together, it's just a little fake little boxy thing. You're just going to rivet that from either side. You can rivet it to the top of this box. Now you're just going to build this simple rectangular square, square dimensionally box. You got some jigs. Go ahead and tack it together. And then you can go ahead and Lords on the back. You don't do it yet, but you're going to just Lords the back on, but the front comes off and it's this front panel here. That way we can run power through. But while it's still open, then you're going to take, once you get this riveted on, then you're just going to take this open frame and you're going to slide it up onto the post and then bottom it out on the bottom here and make sure it looks sexy. And then you're going to tack it to the post here and probably burn it more than tack. Give it a good little run. Maybe not full pen because you're only dealing with 09, but maybe run like a nice little, couple one little inchworms there just to make sure that this thing's seated up against nice. And then that gives that structure. So we'll have that burn there. And then now we'll have the support of this up against. And so once this box is on there, the post should be sticking out a little bit. Then you start bringing in the 1/4 inch. So now the 1/4 inch will match these 193s. So get the clecos out and you'll bottom out this base plate with the squares there and no dog bones because that's the bottom one. But the top one here, you'll see the matching and you'll see how it kind of matches the box kind of sticks over a little bit. And you'll be able to bonk that against there. Now the post should fit about halfway through if the post is cut right. So you'll see it goes about 1/8 in. If it pokes out, you want to grind it smooth because this plate needs to go up against there. But I went ahead and made that post all the way through, so that way, or this base plate all the way through, so that way, just in case there's a problem, it'll poke all the way through. So I didn't want to have to trap it between two island fills and have it too long or something. So anyway, 193 it on there. And then this opening on the bottom gives you full room to give it a good burn. So you'll go ahead and just burn that plate to the post, and that will basically complete the strength. Like that's where it comes from. So burnt up here, tacked up there really well, and then burn baby burn there. And then you can also, if you want, tack the perimeter of the opening around this. You can just kind of throw some tacks onto the plate as well, just to kind of nail that down, keep it from moving around. So maybe in the corners, or well, there's no corners, but like, around in here, just give it some tacks. So then that's basically the structure. So that way it'll sit on that plate. You can just set it on the floor. It was going to be a Mjolnir, but like we usually do, but because it's so skinny, there was not going to be any room to do what we do. There would be like modified plates and all this nonsense. And I was like, eh. So I went ahead and just did this stretched out flat plate. So it's just a modified version of what we do. And then so the base is what we do. You're going to go ahead and just tuck these together, link them together, and burn the post in. Should be good to go. 1/2 inch nuts like we do, weld nuts on all four corners. And then that's the base. That's the Mjolnir. And I gave you a seal up too, right here on the base post, like we do. So get those ready, and then that'll take care of all the structure. We should be good to go there. This just gets bent, and it just wraps around the front. And then I extended the base. How low can you go? So you see how the base will poke out a little bit. It has a pouty lip down there. So that actually just kind of rests on it. So that way it's kind of a reference thing there. The problem is like, once this, theoretically, this should be buried about this far. So the reason why I didn't want to put the power inside this is because in order to service it, you got to dig it out. It's kind of a pain in the booty. Also, one of these is going directly up against the wall, so there won't be any access right here. So to the back. So, and this one obviously is fine, but this one won't have any access. So we definitely want to make sure that everything is accessible from the front. But having to dig this out every time is kind of a pain in the booty. Probably to put it back is going to be kind of corroded up after a while. So anyway, and then that's when you can go ahead. Once you got this all like welded up and good, then you're just going to lords on the back side. So that way it's just all sealed up. All right, so let's go over the power real quick. So this guy here, just a little mini version. Kind of liking these for options for when we have to go ground vault. I'm going to start to kind of keep these. They're not quite going to be like our Mark 6s, but definitely going to keep them in rotation because it seems like we usually do have to do an outside, and it's going to be much better than the usual ground vaults that we do, the little garden boxes. So again, it's much smaller, 7x11. So, but you're just going to do everything we normally do. Make sure everything's all riveted together real well. And then that just means that make sure you have a big enough leash. So when you go to wire this up, go ahead and make sure that this leash is long enough to come out here and then work its way down through the box, down through the letter, down here, and then give them, so much over here. So I would probably max this out to the 15-foot maximum that you can do for this. So that way they've got maximum, but hopefully they'll try to keep that ground box as close as possible to the sign, so that way we don't have to worry about our voltage drop and all that. So anyway, so that's just it for the power supply box. But like I said, going forward, I think I'll kind of try to keep these in our bag of tricks, see how they work out. Also, let's do a Sloan, as we do try to do a Sloan for this for the wet location. So anyway, that's that for the power. So like I said, nothing too crazy. You've seen this before with the Eagle Mountain. Good luck with this. Mad Men, have your grinders ready to make stuff fit. And then you got a reverse channel, two reverse channel letters to make. A little bit funky here, get in there, try to do the best you can. But those aren't ever fun at 3 inches deep. And then just a standard reverse channel. I think, if you remember, I think it said 3,500K for the power supply or for the temperature. So let's just do that now. What? 3,500K. Look at that. That'll work. That's for our color. Let's go ahead and put that over here with the there you go. give it a little flip. There, that'll be for you guys. All right, so cut list right here, 3x3 by 3/16. We're gonna go ahead and go with that. It's all been checked out, so we're good to go. So 2 of those and 2 of those because there are 2 signs. But anyway, so I think that should be it for you cats. If you have any other questions, you know where I'm at. Hit me up. Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Check the